have really, there's a player that should be on this team right now and is not, and it has nothing to do with the player. And there is a player who, if a certain kind of injury happens, you will see them. So if a penalty killer, a PKer, goes down and they need PK help, you will see, at least in my opinion, you should see Adam Johnson, who the Penguins pried out of college as a sophomore. And he is a very good penalty killer in that he reads the opponent's power play really well and knows when to go up ice. The first time I saw them this year, he was just disgusting. Like, he almost scored every single penalty kill. And also, Teddy Bluger should be on this team. If we weren't lousy with centers, he would be on this team. He would be. But that's okay because because the thing is, if he gets called up this year, it's more likely he'll get called up because of an injury, and he'll get called up to play a wing spot because they have so many centers. And so for me, I'm okay with him staying in Wilkes-Barre because I think he's a center at the NHL level. And I think he needs to continue to take draws and become stronger and more tenacious on them so that when he goes up to the next league and he isn't like average size, when he's a little smaller than some of the guys he'll face, he'll still be able to win. And I think that's important. So, and he could be on this team now. It's not his fault he's not.
What about Trotman? I just heard Rutherford talk about him today, that he's a pretty capable defenseman.
The thing about Trotman, it's not that he's not capable. It's not anything like that. It's that he's played 270 games already in the professional leagues. He's running out of what you call that prospect area. So, like, I mean, I'm not saying that he won't or he couldn't. If they call somebody up, he's the one they call, 100%. Especially because when they signed Ethan Proud, they wanted him to be something, and he has not been that something. So, like, we could see Trotman. We saw him last year. He's an effective player in that lower half of the depth chart role. I don't think he's a player that's still developing. I think he is what he is. And I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of teams in this league he could actually play on. But do you want to actually play? Or do you want to be on a good team? It's one or the other.
Yep. All right. Well, this was awesome. We could talk for hours. This is this is great. Leah Blasko, writer for the Pensblog. Thank you so much. Let's do this again sometime.
All right. That was a good time. Thank you very much for having me on.
Okay, the World Series is underway, and here to talk about it once again from the Scorecrow, I have Johnnie Black at JBall0202 and Bruce Cagle Jr. at Bruce Cagle Jr. 2. Hey guys, what's up?
How's it going, Joey?
How's it going, buddy?
Not bad. So, Red Sox, Dodgers. Is that kind of the matchup we expected for the World Series?
I think so. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Bruce.
No, sorry. I didn't really think Boston was going to make it to the World Series. They were good, but I thought the Astros were going to take them out. I was a little surprised that they dismantled them. They didn't just.
It wasn't close.
No, they just crushed them, and so that was a little surprising. Not that they won, because I mean they were the number one team in the AL. I get that. The number one team overall. I get that. But they crushed Houston, who I thought was very deep, and I thought they were better than last year. So I'm a little surprised. The Dodgers, not really. I picked them to make it here, so I'm not surprised by them making here at all. Sorry for interrupting you, Johnny. What do you think?
Oh, no, that's all right. Yeah, I'm not surprised by the Dodgers, actually. I thought Milwaukee would be able to ride that magic to the World Series. They put up a good fight. I mean, it won 7 games, but the Dodgers are a deeper team, and it showed through the 7-game series how deep they really were. Boston, yeah, I'm not completely surprised that they won the series, but like you said, the way they dismantled Houston was kind of a shock, especially after what Houston did to Cleveland. Mm-hmm. Now you think Cleveland's a pretty good team. They got good starters. They got a decent lineup with Ramirez and Lindor and everybody. And what Houston's pitching staff did to them, I thought that would definitely carry over. But Boston's lineup, man, like we were just saying, they're just relentless. I mean, even the bottom of the lineup with Bradley at the bottom, the LCS MVP, they just keep coming at you.
Well, you saw today, Kinsler in Game 2, he was the one that opened up the scoring, and he's been horrible. And if he can do anything, that's just another option they have down there in the 7-8 hole when he's down there. And that's just speaking to the point of how deep they are, is a guy like Ian Kinsler is at the bottom of the lineup, when just a few years ago, Ian Kinsler was a premier, top of the bat type of guy, or he was a top of the order type of guy, and now he's down there and struggling, but he still came up big in this game. So if he can pick it up, that's just another weapon they have. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing. And yeah, Boston takes Game 1, and as we're talking now, it's in the middle of Game 2, and Boston's winning. So not a bad start for the Red Sox. Do you think the Dodgers could come back in this series?
Johnny, how about you take this one?
Well, I had originally I picked Boston in 6, and I know the Dodgers are deep, and like we're talking about the lineups too. I mean, you have someone like Yasiel Puig hitting 8th today, and Kike Hernandez batting 7th, Kemp 6th. So I mean, they have a pretty good lineup on their own. Let's not take that away from them. But the Red Sox I think they're just too good, honestly. And if they're getting this type of pitching performances at a price, their bullpen's been solid, as they showed in Houston. Guys like Brazier and Barnes leading up to Kimbrel. I just think Boston's too good. I really do. I think they're going to take it in 6. I think LA, even if they lose today and go down 2-0, I think they could take 2 out of 3 in LA. But I think once it comes back to Fenway, I think Boston's going to take it. What do you think, Bruce?
I think they are being a little too aggressive right now. The Dodgers, that is. So I'm not. I was very confident they were going to take this game before they had the last inning there. They're not taking their time against David Price. I just watched 2 outs on 2 first pitches. Like that, I was listening to the game on my way home from work, and they were swinging at some stuff that I felt they shouldn't have been. They were aggressive. This team doesn't need to be aggressive. They're very deep, and the way they even scored the 2 runs today is they take their time. And, if they continue to force things, then they're not going to have a shot, honestly. And that I picked the Dodgers in 6 personally. So it's kind of crazy to me to sit back and say they're about to get dominated if they don't try to approach this game a little bit slower and not attack every single first pitch, because they're pulling the string on these guys a lot right now. You saw it yesterday, a lot of off speed stuff, and the Dodgers aren't adjusting to it. And if they don't adjust to it, they're gonna get crushed. And they're not looking to make it. They're not looking like they're making adjustments tonight. So the way it's going, I'm right there with Johnny. It's gonna look bad. But we'll see how it goes. I think this bullpen can get them back into the game, but they gotta start approaching the at-bats a little bit more. Make David Price work for it. He still is not this elite guy that you've seen in these past couple of games. He'll give up runs if you make him pitch more.
Yeah, but he's looking pretty elite so far tonight.
I mean, when Manny Machado swung and popped it up to shortstop on the first pitch in the 6th inning just now, and then Chris Taylor came out and bunted it to third base, and that was the first 2 pitches. And now you finally have someone working it. It's Kemp. Kemp was the one who hit a home run off Sale yesterday, remember, and brought them back into the game a little bit. You got a 2-2, and a couple of these pitches haven't been close by David Price. So got to make them work, and you don't do that by just swinging at every first pitch, and they got to slow it down. They still have time in this game, but I think Boston's taking it just because they got the momentum. They're at home tonight. I think the Dodgers, I think they'll win one or two at home, but they got to slow it down, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
That's neat. Sorry, go ahead, John.
No, I was gonna say I agree with Bruce. You have to get these starting pitchers out early, and we're looking at it now. And Price is in the sixth inning, only giving up 2 runs. So you can't allow these starters to get these quality starts against you in the World Series. Like Bruce said, you have to be patient. I mean, Price has only thrown 88 pitches, and he just got out of the inning. So
Exactly.
I mean, he's through. So he could actually go out for the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have your starting pitcher give up 2 runs in 7 innings in a World Series game, now you have a rested bullpen. I know they have the day off tomorrow anyway, but you have a rested bullpen. You have all your options open to you. Whereas if you continue to be patient and get these starters out, you get what the Dodgers did to like Milwaukee in the LCS. Milwaukee's strength was their bullpen. And although Counsell made his moves taking Miley out after 1 batter and blah, 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 but if you make them throw Hader for 2-3 innings, then you don't have them the next day. If you make them pitch Jeffers constantly, you saw that the Dodgers with a deep lineup can get to a bullpen. And if the Dodgers aren't being patient, like you said, Bruce, and you have Price going 6-7 innings, well, they don't have that opportunity to expose Boston's bullpen. So they definitely have to take more pitches and make them work.
Yeah, and it doesn't help in Game 1 when they lit up the Dodgers ace, Kershaw. So, that can't help the Dodgers.
And honestly, in that one, if you're Boston, you have to look back at Game 1, and it could have been worse for Kershaw. There was a couple timely double plays that saved Kershaw because he had traffic out there. If you look back, they had 5 walks, 11 hits or something like that in 8 innings. They had traffic all over the place yesterday. And with Kershaw, they just they sat on his fastball. They didn't really chase a bunch of these other pitches that he was trying to do. They took advantage of him. But you saw what happened to Chris Sale, though. The Dodgers didn't really fear that too much because Chris Sale didn't go he went 3 innings. He gave up he had a bad game too. He had 70-some pitches through 3, whereas where Johnny said Price is only at 88 now and he's through 6. So I mean that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing was with Boston too. Yesterday with Kershaw especially, they know that he doesn't have the fastball like he used to. I mean, his fastball averaged 90 miles an hour yesterday, whereas a few years ago, just as soon as last year or 2 years ago, Kershaw could hit 95, 96 when he needed to, which set up that curveball and that slider. With the differential of speed was so big, when he drops that 72-mile-an-hour curveball and he can come inside with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, you have to be prepared for anything, and you get kind of defensive as a hitter. Whereas if you know he's not coming with 95, you can pick and choose your spots better and not have to gear up for the fastball, which makes the off-speed stuff a lot easier to hit. And that's what's happening with Kershaw. And if this is a problematic thing going forward next year and the year after, he's going to have to learn how to pitch again, kind of. As we saw with some other pitchers in the league, Felix Hernandez losing his velocity, CeCe as he got older, losing his velocity, even Greinke to a point, although Greinke's found a way to make it work. And I think what you're seeing with Kershaw is, he's 30 years old. He's getting there. He's had back issues the past couple of years. Maybe he's got to learn how to pitch a little bit differently now, not having that overpowering fastball where he has it in his back pocket and can throw it whenever he wants.
And here's a question for you guys. Do you fear Clayton Kershaw in the playoffs anymore? I mean, he has his career ERA in the playoffs is not a very good one. I think it's 4.5 something.
Wow.
Is the last time I saw it. This is Clayton Kershaw we're talking about, and he's been to the postseason quite often. This is the same Dodgers team that has won the West for what, 6 years now? 5, 6 years in a
5 or
row.
6
So
years, yeah.
it's